Hi everyone, welcome to Good Day Chula Vista. We are on episode 66.
Wow.
Yay. So
Felicidades.
today we're going to be talking about the real estate market. What's going on with this market? I know everybody keeps talking about the same thing, so I have a very good investor here that's going to give us her forecast. So stay with us. Welcome back. So we are on episode 66, like I told you. Welcome to Good Day Chula Vista. I'm Faby Gonzalez, your host, realtor, and broker here at Coldwell Banker West. Broker associate, not the broker of Coldwell Banker West. And today I have with me Claudia Williams.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Thrilled to
amiga.
be back.
Yes,
Thank
you hadn't
you so
been here,
much.
what, like in 9 months?
Something like that?
Yeah, like
I
9
know.
months. So I invited Claudia because she knows about real estate. She knows about loans. She's been a lender before, and you know, people are scared right now about the real estate market. So we're here to talk about it. Let's. If you have questions, make sure you're asking your questions right now that we're live here, because we'll answer them. Any concerns you have, any doubts about selling or buying, make sure you're asking your questions right now. We have someone here to help me answer those questions, and also make sure you make a comment, because then you'll be part of our raffle. You'll be entered into the drawing, and at the end of the show we'll draw you a couple of names and you can win a gift card. And also share this video, please. Everybody wants to
Please
know about
share,
the market.
share.
Yeah.
Mhm. The
Share
more
it.
questions, the better.
Yes. So share this
Mhm.
live video right now to your page, and then also make sure you're giving us hearts, giving us hearts, giving us likes.
As many as possible.
Yes, because that would help us promote our video, and that's what we want. We want
Yeah,
all
we
that.
want everybody to be informed of what's really happening here in San Diego with the market.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so then here we go. Let's the title of the show, I said real estate market update from an investor's point of view, because we had this show before and we were talking about what was going on with the market, but it was mostly realtors. So now I wanted to bring in your point of view, because you're an investor. So let's start by you telling us about who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing it.
Okay, great. So my name is Claudia Williams again. I'm the CEO for Bloomingtown Investments, and I've been in real estate for around 13 years, an investor for 5 years. Super happy. We're still buying homes. There's thousands of homes being sold every month still. There's been some adjustments, some changes in the market, but there is a lot of misconceptions of what really is going on, and that's the reason that we're here. We want to give the details.
Okay, so that was my question. What is going on with the market?
So there's a lot more inventory than before. The statistics say it's around 38% of more inventory than before. And I think the reason being is because sellers were thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to wait to sell. The prices keep going up, and everybody wants to be super positive and say, I want the most for my home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So reality is that interest rate went up, so that means you can now afford around 20% less of a home because the payment went up around a
Right.
point. So that makes people realize that they gotta sell because the time is up. You know, the market has definitely adjusted, so it's time to sell. And for buyers, we don't know what's gonna happen with the interest rate. They're still super low, you know, historically low on the fives. So it's very affordable. I mean, especially considering how high the rents are, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you not buy if the payment of a mortgage is gonna be fixed for 30 years and rents go up something like 10%, 20% more? I heard something like the rents went up double in the last 5 years or something like that, which is
Right.
crazy.
Right.
So there's still lots of opportunities, especially for the buyers and the sellers. I would just say you gotta sell now.
So you went too fast for our viewers.
Sorry.
So let's break it down, okay? Because I really want you guys to understand. And so when we're talking about inventory, let's break it down for them, because you're talking like an investor and you understand. I understand what you're talking about, but a lot of these people are homeowners, or they've never owned a home. You know, they're renting. So I want to break it down for you guys. So what Claudia was saying is, what's going on with the market. We didn't have enough inventory. What we mean by inventory is how many houses were listed for sale on, let's say, Chula Vista. What was the inventory in Chula Vista? How many houses were listed for sale? And we are used to having, so many houses listed, and they would sell within a week or 2 weeks. They would go pending, and then they would close escrow like in 30 days.
Right.
So then things change. Sellers, they got a little bit greedy, so now they're overpricing. So what Claudia was explaining is they're overpricing their properties. If a property, the last one sold for $500,000, they wanted to get $550,000. Even though it was exactly the same floor plan, no upgrades, maybe even a little worse, but you know what? That one sold for $500,000. I want to sell for $550,000, and it was working for a while.
Because buyer didn't have enough inventory, so they were willing to pay for that. So it's always like whatever buyer is willing to pay, that's the real value of a home. So as long as there was buyers willing to pay that much, it kept going up because there was very low inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have a lot more inventory. There's a lot more opportunity for those buyers.
And the reason we have more inventory is because of that reason, because people kept overpricing these properties. So now they're not selling in 2 weeks. They're still selling quick enough. I mean, they're selling within less than 3 months. But to us that we're used to selling them in 2 weeks, of course we think, oh my God, this is taking forever to sell. So 3 months is a long time. When up north, they can take up to a year and it's normal. Here, it's not. So they're still selling once the sellers are realistic of what price they should be pricing their houses at. Because you'll see at the end, we're going to go over some of the numbers and you'll see what we mean. We have the facts to prove it. It's still a really good market for sellers. They're still making more money than they were making last year on this month.
Exactly.
So, okay, so now they take longer. So now because they're taking a little longer, sellers are willing to adjust the price to what the realtor has been telling them since day one.
Since day one, yeah. And realistically, not every market is the same. There's a lot of zip codes where the days on the market still just like 3 or 5 days. There's like the metro area still super hot, and there's a lot of buyers for those pockets. Like more on the suburbs and other areas, the days on the market could be a month and a half to 3 months, something like that. But then when the statistics come, everything gets summarized, averaged up. But realistically, they're super hot in a lot of different pockets.
Right, because they don't have as much inventory.
Correct.
I mean, I
There's
remember
a lot
you
more
sent me
buyers.
I was looking for some of the comparables for the house you had sent me, and there was no competition for that house. That was going to be the only house on the market. Even though the price that they were trying to get was too high, even though that was going to be the only house listed, it's still, it had to be overpriced. But, in some, like she's saying, in some of those areas, they can get away with doing that because there's nothing else. And
Correct.
if you want to live there, you're willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Here in the South Bay, like National City, Chula Vista, especially East Chula Vista, they were just being overpriced. So they were not selling, they were selling really good, but right now there's more inventory. So buyers, they can choose to pay a little less. And if the seller really wants to sell, then they're really willing to be realistic with their price. Not underprice it, but just be realistic with the price.
Exactly, being realistic.
So, Claudia, are you still buying properties as an investor? So let's talk to the investor, Bloomingtown Investment CEO. Are you still buying properties?
We're still buying properties. The only difference now is that we have to be more careful with the numbers, with the margins. They have to make sense, but not only like we need to be more strict. We can't have like this cushion of using the comparables with like the best comparables. Maybe you have to go like 75% and be more realistic there, be more careful because of the amount of inventory that there is. I mean, I'm not a big investment companies, but for example, the largest investors here in San Diego, they're still buying 10 properties a month. They have 10 under rehab and they have 16 listings on the market. So the market has, it's gotten slower, but still pretty solid, pretty strong.
That's why I wanted to invite you because, like you said, you're not a huge company of investors that they have all this money that, a lot of those investors, they have money from many people. So they need to keep the money moving. Even if they're not making that much money, they have to keep it moving because they have to pay their investors. But with you, it's more realistic because it's your money. You're the one that's investing. So you're really looking at the market. So the fact that you're still buying, obviously it's still a good market.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're not gonna make this much, but you're gonna make this much. It's still a business, still very profitable. So
She always makes this much.
no, not always. I wish.
So so the listings that you've had the last 5 months, how fast? Let's do an average on the last 5 months. How fast are they selling?
So I actually have 2 homes, and one has been in the market for a little bit over 2 months, and the other one is just a little bit over a month. And I've been adjusting the price a little bit, and I'm kind of looking at the comps and seeing what's going on. So this is something that every other renovated property has been going through, because we're seeing of how much buyers are willing to pay, and again the competition creates this. So we just have to be a little more patient. But I've noticed that because because of the interest rates, buyers are like leaning more towards homes that are maybe a little bit more affordable, but they're still in really good conditions. And that's some people. I mean, some people just say, I want everything to be move-in ready. I don't want to have to invest in the property for the next 10 years. So, I mean, there is homes for everyone, lots of opportunity. But again, this is definitely a buyer's market now, finally. And I think even though I'm not super happy that we as an investors, we're going to make less now, I think it's something that had to happen. This is great for everyone, especially for the people that have been thinking of buying and they're on the fence. It's time to get off the fence and become active, because just like how it happened to the sellers, I'm going to wait for the perfect time. So now sellers are realizing that the perfect time
last
already
year
passed. So for the buyers, the same thing. And you don't want to wait until the market crashes again, because what happens when the market crashes again? There's tons of competition, and you're gonna have nothing to choose from. Like, you're gonna have maybe putting your offer, and there's gonna be another 20 people making an offer with zero selection. That's what happens when the market crashes. Plus, you're gonna be competing with all of the investors. So this is not the perfect timing, right? I think right now is perfect, because the interest rates are super low still, and there's a lot of inventory. You can even have the seller help you with closing costs, help you to buy down the mortgage rate so your payment is lower. Repairs, you can get more picky with the repairs of the condition. So right now, the buyers have just ton of opportunity. Yep.
Yes, it's a really good time to buy, because sellers are not exaggerating the prices because they need to sell, so they're being realistic with the prices. Even investors, they're willing to make a little less to move their money, and that is good news for the buyers. Right now, usually when things are like this, there's not that many programs out there, because buyers are buying, there's more than enough buyers, and it's a buyer's market. So there's not that much money from the city, because it seems like everything is getting better. But right now, there's a lot of money in the city to help buyers with down payment assistance, with closing costs, with grants, with MCC credits to get more money at the end of the year from your tax returns. So there's a lot of programs right now that you can use. Even though it's a buyer's market, there's that money also. So look into that. Make sure that you're being informed and not just go with the first loan that you're presented to. Make sure you investigate and find out if you qualify for other programs. And then find out what the terms are for that program. Obviously, you want to understand them. But, okay, so then you're still buying properties. You're just being more careful with the margins. And your listings, they're selling. They're just taking a little longer, but they're still selling. You're still making money. So let's talk about the forecast, because that's where everybody gets scared. Like, everybody, when it comes to that, even people that are not selling homes, they're experts. I mean, when people don't know I'm a realtor and they're talking to me, they'll be telling me, oh, the market is going to crash, and then they already know what's going to happen. I'm like, how do they know all that? And I'm in real estate. And you hear it from
nobody knows for sure.
Nobody knows for sure, because if we did, we would know exactly what to do. So nobody knows for sure, but when you're in the business, you get a little bit of sense of it. So there's no reason to be scared. You can still get a good interest rate. You can still buy a house with a really good payment. like Claudia said, you can get the seller to help you pay your rates down so you can get a lower payment. They can help you pay your private mortgage insurance, so then your payment is lower. That's one of the things that I've been doing with my buyers. Stephanie Puente, she does a loan where they pay up front their PMI, so then they don't have PMI.
Yeah, so the payment much lower now.
Right, so it's not like they pay it for a year, they pay it completely. I mean, it's a conventional loan, you can't do that with an FHA, but with the conventional loan, and the way she does it, it really works, and you don't have that PMI.
And then their payment is like even lower than rent, right?
Way lower, yeah, definitely. So let's talk about the forecast.
Yeah, so before we go on the forecast, I wanted to mention that before, for the people that would have down payment assistance and all those kinds of programs, it would be very hard to get their offer accepted, like hard. And now, like, you have a down payment assistant client, and since sellers are more motivated, it's like right now is the time. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of financing you have. VA, FHA, whatever financing you qualify for, you have a great opportunity of being the offer accepted and with your terms, because there is more inventory again. So if you guys have questions about down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, any kinds of assistance, because there's a big misconception, I don't know if you've gotten that from clients, but a lot of people think that you need 20% down to buy a home. I don't know why, I don't know where they heard that from. But realistically, people can come in with 0%, 1%.
With no money down.
Correct. And a lot of people can come with 3%, 4%. Just depends on your income and your credit, your family size, and all these things. But down payment assistance is just not for the people that make super low income yearly. No, it's realistically, you can make up to like 100,000 or something like that, right? You can afford a good home at that price. So, like, that's something to think about.
You went to the down payment assistance program class, right? So did you like it?
Yeah, it was very informative. There was a few things that I didn't know that I learned.
There. What was the biggest thing you learned in that class?
What was it? What did I not know? I mean, everything was kind of like a review, but I mean, for example, the mortgage insurance, these down payment assistance, some of them will help you with 17% of the down payment. So that causes first a payment not to have a PMI, and also the rate to be more competitive at the time of getting your payment. So you end up having a payment that is lower than rent, and it's fixed for 30 years. So inflation doesn't affect you because your payment is fixed for 30 years. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a really good benefit. Okay, Karen, she's so right. Now is the time to buy. Yes. Diana de la Torre, muy interesante tópico. Gracias, amiga. Hi, Mika. Thank you for joining us. Marta Garcia, Ruben Gutierrez, thank you for joining us. I have my Tiger Title cup here. I didn't realize that it had the name. I'm going to charge Tiger Title for advertising here. Okay. So then let's go over some of the statistics, because you went to this class for investors yesterday, I think you said, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about what you learned. You know what? I'm not seeing everyone here on my phone. Unfortunately, my iPad was not charged, and I wasn't able to open it today. So here on my phone, I only seen like 4 people here that make the comments. So I'm sure there's more, but my phone is not letting me scroll. So I apologize because there's 14 comments here and I can't see them. But
can you see them?
I was able to see them, but the iPad literally just turned off as
I
put it on Facebook.
So I am so sorry because I can't answer your questions, and we'll try to review everything.
Yeah, we'll post the answers though.
And then and the thing is that for the raffle, I can't see everyone, so I don't know how I'm gonna enter all the names. I am so sorry. I apologize. It's Adrian's fault. He didn't charge.
You can do a live after the show.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to do that.
You can see everybody. It's fine.
Okay, so let's stay with us. We'll get your name in there in the raffle, and if I'm able to see the questions here, I'll go over them. Okay, I apologize. So Claudia, tell me about this. Like, what are these charts about?
Yeah, so last night I was the SDCIA, is San Diego Creative Investment Association. And I want to thank Lenska Bracknell for sharing this statistics with me. This is going to be very valuable, and I'm going to try to go slow so people can understand it better. So, for example, the San Diego County detached medium sales price is a $645,000, but it's a 6% YOY, meaning year over year, meaning there was still appreciation compared to October of 2017 of 6%.
Okay, hold on, let me catch up with you. So you're on which one? The
median sales price for detached home, San Diego.
Okay. So what does that mean? Okay, so just remember, they're not investors, they're not, most of them are not even sellers, so we're talking mostly to buyers. So what does that mean when you're saying detached home, medium sales price 645, up 6%? What does that really mean?
So that means if you account the lower price homes with the higher price homes in San Diego, the medium sales price would be 645, which compared to last year still increased 6% from last year. So everybody's talking about how the market's crashing, how the prices have gone down. So the prices are adjusting, but the statistics, the numbers are here. Again, this was probably produced from NAR, a National Association of Realtors, and like I said, it was Lenska Bracknell that shared this with us, the Association of Investors, and it's still showing that there's a 6% increase from last year on the medium sales price, $645,000. So for some people that might say, okay, how much do I have to make to buy a home? $645,000. So I don't have it right here. I think it was something like $105,000 a year.
But these numbers are for the San Diego, right? Because mostly our clients are from here, South Bay. The median price here is, I think it's $475,000.
For South Bay.
For South Bay. So that's the average price point of a house here, detached. For a condo, it would be in San Diego $419. I think for here, for South Bay, I think it was $350 or $325 around there, the median price. But like Claudia's saying, even though people are saying prices are going down, this shows you that the price went up. The median sales price, the average price of a home went up 6.3% from last year, last year. So prices are still went up. They're still up. It's just that when people are saying their prices are going down, they're going down from those overpriced listing prices that people have. So now they're being realistic and they're having to lower the prices and be realistic. But even when they're doing that, they're still selling higher than they were selling last year. That's what this means. Even on a condo, the prices on the condos are 4.8% higher this year than last year. So that is not a market that is crashing.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Also, the average price is per square footage on a detached home. And again, this is San Diego, so this is accounting the south, the north, the east, the west, everything all together. The price for a detached per square footage is $403, and that still has an appreciation of 7%, 7.7 year over year. And for condos, attached properties, $423 per square feet.
Okay. So now let's talk about active listings. So this is what we were talking about the inventory. How many active listings are out there?
Yes, so right now the report is saying that there is 5,369 active listings, and there is a change of 29% increase compared to last year. So that's what we started talking about. There's almost 30% more listings, which again, that means sellers, you guys have to pay attention and price your listing aggressively since the beginning, and offer the most you can to the buyer to be more attractive, to have a better product, so your listing doesn't sit on the market.
Right. Listen to your realtors. If they're telling you what the price is, I mean, if you have an experienced realtor, if you have a listing agent that has been selling many homes, listen to what they're telling you. They're gonna tell you if you can really stretch the price, or if you're not in a hurry, and if you think, well, I'm gonna sell it only if I sell it at this price, and that's fine. But if you really need to sell and you don't take that good offer they're telling you should take it, you might end up having to take something lower next month or the following month.
Correct. And one thing to remember too is that we agents get paid on a percentage of the purchase price. So if we advise you that the price has to go lower, it's because that's what it has to be. I mean, we're gonna get paid on percentage of the purchase price, and the higher it goes, the more money we get. But realistically, we just advise what's the best. I mean, no one ever advised, to leave the home in the market, because then a lot of questions are brought up.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. So what else do you have here on these charts? What else can we share
So
with
we
them
also
about the market?
have San Diego County active listings for attached is 38%. So there's even more increase on the condos. So there's a percent of 38% more compared to last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the average date on the market is 38 days. I guess we're comparing all different zip codes, different communities.
Uh-huh.
And it's showing 38, which is an increase of 8%. So that's not that much, almost 10% increase on days on the market. Again, that's mixing different communities, 3, 4, 5 days on the market with 2, 3 different months on the market. It comes down to 38 days on the market, and that's pretty healthy market, I would say.
Yeah.
More
Definitely.
balanced, because we were seller's market for so many years now, and it's like I guess it was time for all these buyers that that deserve home ownership.
Yes.
Mhm.
So make sure if you're a buyer. So what does this mean for a buyer? Because I work with buyers also, and sometimes when they hear this is a buyer's market, so what I say goes. That's not what that means. That means that you have more room to negotiate, but you still have to be realistic. You're still not gonna get the house if you're asking for way too many closing costs and you're not willing to raise the price. These sellers, they're not. It's not like it happened before where they were behind on their payments or their houses were upside down in equity. They're not. They're trying to sell because that's what they bought it for, and they're trying to make some equity and sell, or maybe downsize or upgrade. But even though it's a buyer's market, you have to really be smart when you're negotiating. That's my advice to all the realtors as well. If you have a buyer and they want that house, it should be a win-win. I mean, at least that's the way I like to work.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that my seller is winning. Claudia's been my seller. I work with her listing her properties, and it's always she'll tell you like, okay, well, she thinks as a seller, and sometimes I have to sell it to her. This, even though it's not my buyer, I have to be, yes, I understand this is what you want, but look, this is what we have. These are the good things on this offer. And then she has to put on her realtor's hat and say like, hey, you know what? You're right. Let's just move forward with that offer. But that is my job as an agent, to be realistic and to make sure that she's winning and the buyer is winning. The buyer wants to buy, she wants to sell. They both want to make something out of it, so we have to make it work. Sometimes you'll end up working with realtors that are not like that. They're too stubborn, their ego is too high, too much pride. And then who suffers? The buyer or their seller, because they're really not negotiating with the win-win. It has to be a win-win. So remember that when you're buying a property, when you're making your offer, just think when you're negotiating, don't lowball the offers. Just think like, how much am I willing to pay for that house? How much do I really want that house? Maybe I don't like it that much, so I'm going to offer that. If they don't like it, fine, I can go ahead. But if that's the house you want, you don't want to just, fool around and then lose that property. I'm going to give you an example because of the market that it's going on, and something that happened to me a couple of weeks ago.
Mhm.
We have this listing, and we're trying to negotiate the price, right? Obviously, the seller wants to get the higher price. I'm trying to get them the most money possible, and we get an offer, and we're negotiating, right? So we're like, okay, we're gonna this price. So finally, I get it to where they're both happy. The buyer is good with that price. The seller is good. And then finally, okay, we get it. So send me the counter. We agree on that price. Send me the counter. And then I don't hear from them, right? I'm like, so I'm calling the agent. Hey, where's the counter? Let's open escrow. And she tells me, there's a property that came on the market this morning, way better than yours, totally remodeled for the same price. So you know what? We're just taking our money over there. So now this is what some investors are doing. They're not overpricing them. They're like, okay, instead of making 50,000, I'm willing to make 25,000 and get my money out because I just want to get out of this house right now, and that's what happened. So maybe if my seller would have taken a little less, maybe even though that one came on the market, they would have stayed with this one because it was maybe $5,000 less and it had an extra bathroom, something like that. But you have to really think. You might like a house and it can be gone like that, or you might get an offer and that buyer could be gone like that if you're not thinking the win-win. Right?
That's true.
So you want to make sure you don't stretch it that much that then you lose the opportunity.
That's right.
So what else, Claudia? Do you think people should be scared about this market?
I think it's time to take action, definitely. Again,
what do you mean take action?
If you're a seller and if you need to cash out for whatever reason, or you want to move up, right now is the time. If you want a better home, your home already has good equity, and this is not the home you really your dream home, this is the perfect time to move up. You sell your house, you still get really good profit, and then you're able to move up. Because if you don't act now, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yes.
With the interest rates, like I said, they're still
right
pretty good.
Right now, the interest rates are still really good.
Right, and then your other property, you're still going to buy it at good price. For moving down, I mean, it might be different, but for moving up, clients, definitely right now is the time. And as far as unemployment, we have it here that is national 3.7. That's really good. San Diego is 3.1%,
which is very low. It's the lowest numbers that it's been in many years. So the affordability index right now is really good. There's money out there. Most people know they're going to have this job they have for the next 12 months. So that's why it's looking good for the buyers to buy, because they have jobs, they're making good money, they have a stable job that they're going to have in the next 12 months according to the statistics. So it's a good time to buy.
It is.
What about the golden age? You were saying something about, I thought that was cute.
Yes, so we learned yesterday the golden years are not so golden, meaning there's more and more elderly people that have to be working at 60, 70 years old still. So it says that since 2002, there is around 67% of people working on the age of 75 and over, because there's a large underfunding of retirement funds. So that I thought that was kind of sad, and then you say, oh, that's super good because you're super positive and you're like, oh, that's good because they're active and they're doing something. But I said, wow, they have to work. So they have to change their plans. And now retirement, that's the reason people have to invest, because you don't know what's going to happen to public funds and government.
That's one of the reasons that people have to work, because they didn't pay off their homes and their payments are too high, or they're still renting.
They refinance and cash out.
Yeah, and they're still renting. You know, a lot of those people are still renting that I see. They're older, they're still working because they're paying rent. So if you buy your house right now and you make an extra payment a year, you can pay off your house in 17 years instead of 30 years. So imagine being paid off in 17 years. So you retire and at least you don't have a mortgage payment. You're still going to have your property taxes and your utility bills, but you're not going to have the whole mortgage payment. So think about those things. Real estate is a long-term investment. So when people say, well, the market is going to crash, so I'm not going to buy. Oh, so you're going to rent? Who knows what's going to happen with the rent? You think you're safer because you're not buying?
They're paying the landlord's mortgage.
Yeah, you're paying, exactly. You're paying somebody's mortgage. So if you buy a house, so let's say a lot of people bought a house in, 2005, 2006, 2004. The prices were high. Then the market crashed. But you know what? Those buyers had a fixed payment. They had a fixed payment for 30 years. They stayed in their house because they bought that house with a payment they could afford. So they were able to ride the wave. They were able to stay in their home with the mortgage payment that they qualified for. They still have their jobs. Now their houses have equity again. So if you keep a house 10 years, you are going to make money. So those 10 years that you hold onto that house, you are going to make money, and eventually you're going to pay it off. So imagine if you can pay it off in 17 years and be totally paid off. So that's the goal. When Claudia is saying that the golden years are not that golden anymore because people have to still work even after 65 or 75 years old because they have to, then that's when you think, right now that I'm younger, I'm not going to say my age. just kidding.
We all know.
I
It
just
was your
turned-
birthday yesterday.
I just turned 50 yesterday. So I'm thinking, okay, if I pay off my house in 15 years, I'll be 65. I'll probably still be working because I want to work, but then my house would be paid off. How cool is that?
Again, what does that mean? You need to take action now.
I need to take action.
The sooner, the better. That way you can plan for
Or
a
buy an
good
investment
retirement,
property. Maybe I'm going to
comfortable
buy
retirement.
an investment property that
Exactly.
I can rent and I can make extra payments so I can pay it off in 17 years. So when I retire, then my properties are paid off. So you got to act. Right now it's a good time for buyers to buy. There's programs out there. If you're thinking of selling, it's a good time to sell. Prices are still up. Like Claudia said, we have the chart 6.8% higher than last year. So it's still a good profit for sellers right now. So if you have to sell, then this is the time. If you need to downsize or if you need to upgrade, right now it's a good time. So don't be scared. Don't listen to the people that don't really know about real estate. Think about what's good for you. What's your long-term plan? And then make your plans according to that. Don't listen to the news. News are there to sell. You know that. And they're going to exaggerate everything because they want to sell. So make sure you do your homework. Talk to somebody that knows. And if you're going to talk to a realtor, make sure you're going to talk to somebody positive. Somebody that really likes real estate and they're not going to be just, talking horror movies about real estate. I remember when I was telling Claudia about what was going on because I was a little scared myself. And she was like, oh, no, that's not going to happen. And then she started pulling numbers, and this is why I don't think that's going to happen. So that's what happens when you surround yourself with people that are positive. They're looking out for all the good information about it, not just all the negative information. So be informed with the right people. Don't just ask anyone. Make sure you're talking to people that really know the numbers, that are going to classes like you went to this class to find out more and actually have the numbers.
People have to look for experts. Like, don't be listening to your neighbors or your friends or your parents. I mean, sometimes they're just they don't have the information. They don't have the expertise to give you the best advice. And a lot of people don't purchase because they don't qualify for the home that they wish. So I always advise my clients, buy whatever you can afford. And then have someone else pay for the mortgage. Maybe get a roommate or rent it or whatever you have to do. But that's an investment. But don't move forward just because it's not the home of your dreams. If the payment's right, if you can afford it, or someone else can pay you that for the rental, I think it's a great idea.
It's a great idea. Karen is asking, there are some investors who only do Band-Aid repairs. What type of inspections do you recommend buyers to have? Me as a realtor, I recommend my buyers that they do the general inspection, and then if the general inspector is requiring or advising them to do a roof inspection, foundation inspection, plumbing inspection, that they do those also. Even though there's more money to be spent when you do those inspections, I think that, like you're saying, Karen, not all investors are honest. When I was working with Claudia, we had a buyer in one of her properties, and she had rehabbed that property. And so they didn't move forward. It was something else that didn't have to do anything with the house. But when we canceled escrow, Claudia said, give me that inspection report. And something she did.
Remember that? Oh, wow.
Of course I remember that.
Good memory.
And she asked me for that report, and she had her crew go and repair everything that was on that report. So the next buyer that came, we had already taken care of everything because we had to disclose that report to the next buyer. So she wanted to show the buyer everything that was on this report was already repaired. And to me, that speaks highly of an investor when they're willing to do that and not just do the Band-Aid. When they're asking me for the inspection report, even though the other buyer hasn't seen it, and they give me that inspection report so I can fix it. I think that is a good sign. And I know that, we've seen some flips together from other investors that we were laughing.
Band-Aid.
Band-Aid repairs.
Band-Aid
That's
repairs.
it. Okay, so I think we covered everything. I apologize because I'm not able to see, but did you guys get some names for the raffle? You did? Okay, good. So hopefully everybody's there. I'm sorry the questions that I didn't get to answer, but I promise you next week we will have the iPad charged and we'll be able to see all your comments. All right, so let's see. Claudia, pull a name.
Oh, there's two.
Just one.
No, they're get glued.
I'll hold it for you. So you can use both hands. Oh,
Okay.
I see what you mean.
Because they're stickies. So they're very glued. Okay. Summer Ross.
Oh my
Summer
God, no.
Summer
Summer
Ross singer.
Summer, we're just gonna give you a bunch of
That's
cards.
his full name. Summer Ross.
I literally just told her, I
Summer.
was like, you ready to win another card?
Yes.
Wow.
We actually owe her last week's. Okay,
She's lucky.
one more.
One more. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
What should be Martha? Martha always wins.
Summer Ross. No. Martha Garcia. Yay! She already won last week.
So last week it was the same. Are you sure those are not the only two names here? I'm gonna pull some other names here because okay.
I should have put my name
let's
down.
let's pull some names here because I think they have a deal with these girls here and they're just putting their names.
There's something weird going on here.
These are not winners. We just want to prove to you that
Diana de la Torre.
Luis Isais. I want to prove to you that there's other names in here other than Summer and Martha because they always win. Herbert Ayala. Oh, help me open one more.
There's people that just don't have good luck with this thing.
Yes,
No,
these
I'm one of
girls,
those,
but you
I
know
never win
what?
anything.
They're so supportive. They totally deserve it. Faby Mendoza, you were here. So everybody's here. I want you guys.
Micaela.
Oh, Mika, there you
Uh-huh.
were. So just wanted to make sure that you guys know your names are here. But these girls, they're just lucky. They win every week. And you know, in my show, we don't have any rules. So if you put a comment, you make a comment, you go in there.
See,
It doesn't matter.
what happens,
who
you have to
are.
do it like the radio stations. If you won like within a month or 2 months, then you cannot participate.
Oh, no.
You know, you don't participate.
Here, if you're lucky and you win.
Someone walking by the
Okay, guys. Well, I want to remind you that we do have some active listings. I'm going to be posting the open houses that we'll be doing this weekend. We have a listing in Spring Valley, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. And we also have one in National City. We might be in escrow on that one in the next couple of days. But it's a house, $399 to $425, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, with a huge lot. That's in National City. And then we also have a condo in San Isidro on Iris Avenue. That's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and it's listed for $240,000. The payment for that condo is way cheaper than rent, and that is a really good location. $240 for 2-bedroom, 1 bath with the 1-car garage. It also has a garage and an extra space to park. So remember, if you're thinking of buying, give me a call. If you're thinking of selling, give us a call. And if you're thinking of selling your house to an investor, also, Claudia here, Bloomington Investments, and she can give you an offer on any of your properties that you want to sell.
Within 24 hours. Mm-hmm.
I don't think we forgot anything, right?
I don't think so. I think we cover a little bit of everything.
Okay.
But if they have any questions, please feel free to post it.
What's
and
your
then
phone number?
My number is 619-887-0603.
Okay, perfect. And then also, if you need to get pre-qualified, if you're a buyer and you haven't gotten pre-qualified, give me a call. We can set you up with one of our lenders and find out if you qualify for those programs. You don't need to be low income to qualify for those programs. You can make over $100,000 a year and still qualify for those programs for assistance for your down payment.
Mm-hmm.
So don't forget, give me a call if you have questions.
Don't be shy. Contact us.
Yes. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much, Claudia, for coming.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure, as always.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you next Wednesday. We'll have an inspector here. He's going to be telling us what to do with our houses for the winter to protect them from any damage. So we'll see you next week at 4 p.m. and we'll have an iPad so I can see your comments.
Yay. Thank you.